Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new story. That Friday night, I walked into the house expecting nothing more than a simple dinner and maybe a movie before bed. Instead, I found Madison in the bedroom with both closets wide open, pulling clothes into two big suitcases. She didn't even glance up. "What's happening?" I asked. She zipped one bag halfway shut. "I'm leaving tonight. Don't try to stop me." There was no hesitation, no emotion. It sounded like she'd practiced the line. "Leaving for where?" I asked. "I'll stay with a friend until I figure things out." Her eyes stayed glued to the suitcase. "Evan, I need more from life than this." "This?" I motioned around the room. "What's wrong with this? This house, this routine. I can't live like this anymore." She spoke like she was reading from a script she'd already committed to. "Then let's talk about it," I said. "We can try counseling." "No," she cut me off instantly. "I'm done." I let the silence settle for a few seconds. She clearly expected me to fall apart, rush toward her, beg her to stay, promise change. Instead, I said, "All right." That stopped her. She froze mid-fold and finally looked at me. "All right is all you have to say?" "You've already made your decision, Madison. What exactly am I supposed to fight for if you're already out the door?" Her mouth tightened. "Fine. Don't say I didn't give you a chance." She slammed the suitcase shut, grabbed the handles, and brushed past me without another word. I watched her car roll down the driveway. As soon as the taillights disappeared, I picked up my phone. "Daniel, it's Evan," I said when my lawyer answered. Madison just walked out. What do I need to do to protect myself? Within minutes, he gave me a list. Remove her access to my cards, change the locks, and document everything she left behind. By midnight, her cards were deactivated. By morning, a locksmith was already scheduled. If she thought I'd sit around waiting for her to decide whether I was worth keeping, she was mistaken. Truth is, I wasn't shocked. For 8 months, I'd watched her turn into someone I barely recognized. When we first got married, she worked full-time at a marketing agency and came home laughing about her coworkers. She actually enjoyed our quiet weekends. Then suddenly she quit, said she wanted less stress, and took a part-time job at a boutique. The rest of her days disappeared into Instagram, TikTok, and group chats with her single friends. First came little comments about how exciting their lives looked. Then came comparisons. Better apartments, nicer trips, more freedom. Then the late nights started. First happy hours, then girls' nights that ended the next morning. I'd wake up to an empty bed and a text saying, "Don't wait up." One night, I saw a name pop up on her phone. Derek. I remembered him, an old co-worker she'd been a little too friendly with. When I asked about it, she rolled her eyes. "It's just Derek. We're catching up. You're paranoid." "Paranoid because my wife is talking late at night with an old co-worker?" I asked. "You're controlling, Evan. It's not attractive." And that ended the conversation. After that, I paid attention. The laugh she used to save for me was showing up in her messages to other people. Her phone was always face down. By the time she started packing, I already knew what it meant. She'd been planning her exit for months, maybe with someone else waiting in the wings. What she didn't know was that I wasn't going to chase someone who had already walked out. By Saturday morning, her plans started falling apart. Around 9 a.m., my phone lit up with her name. I let it ring twice before answering. What did you do? She snapped. Good morning to you too. My cards aren't working. I tried to get gas and it declined in front of everyone. Those cards are in my name. You were just an authorized user. I removed you. You can't cut me off from money. Actually, I can. You told me you were moving out. I'm respecting that. Silence. Then her voice softened a little. Evan, I never said I wanted a divorce. I just needed space. Packing suitcases and leaving isn't space, Madison. That's moving out. This is ridiculous. I still have rights as your wife. To what? You left. She hung up. 10 minutes later, her friend Chloe called. Evan, we need to talk about Madison. Do we? I asked. She's hurt. She feels like you're punishing her. She told me she was done. I'm taking her seriously. She just needs time to think. You should meet with her. Talk it out. Like you told her to see what else is out there, I interrupted. Silence. Chloe, I said, you've been in her ear for months. You thought she was wasting her life being married. Well, she's free now. You got what you wanted. That's not fair. What's not fair is encouraging her to leave, then acting surprised when I don't run after her. I hung up. By noon, it hit me. Madison expected me to be desperate, begging for her back. Instead, I was calm and organized, and she had no idea how to deal with that. The next Wednesday night, the doorbell rang 3 times, followed by loud knocking. I peeked outside. There she was, hair pulled back, wearing the same jacket she'd left in. Evan, open the door. We need to talk. I stayed where I was. She dug through her purse, pulled out her old key. Twist. Twist. It didn't work. She threw her hands up and pounded harder. That's when my neighbor, Paul, walked over. Everything okay? He asked. Paul, tell him to open the door, she said. He locked me out of my own house. Paul frowned. Didn't you tell me Saturday that you were finally free and starting a new chapter? Her face reddened. I was venting. That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you said, he replied. You even joked about finding someone more exciting. She shot me a glare like this was somehow my fault. That was taken out of context. I stepped outside but walked toward Paul instead of her. Thanks for checking, man. We're fine. She moved to block me. Evan, please. I made a mistake. Can we talk? There's nothing to talk about. You told me not to stop you. I listened. Her voice cracked a little. I didn't know it would feel like this. Maybe you should have thought about that before you left. Paul stepped back awkwardly. I'll let you two work it out. I went inside and locked the door. She stayed another 5 minutes before leaving. By the weekend, she tried a new strategy. My family. Saturday morning, my mom called. Evan, I just spoke to Madison. I sighed. What did she say? She said you locked her out, cut her cards, and won't talk to her. Well, Mom, she moved out. That was her choice. My mother stayed calm. Then she needs to live with it. I told her I'm not getting involved. An hour later, my sister Lauren texted me. Madison just called me crying. I told her to stop. I almost laughed. Madison wasn't used to being shut down. That afternoon, there was a knock on my door. When I opened it, Madison stood there with her older brother Mark, who already looked uncomfortable. Evan, he said, we just want to talk. Madison knows she overreacted. I leaned on the doorframe. Overreacted. She packed her bags and told half the neighborhood she was happier without me. That's not overreacting, Mark. That's making a choice. Madison shifted nervously. Derek wasn't what I thought. I realize now I made a mistake. I nodded slowly. So you left thinking someone else would be better. And when that didn't work out, you came back. That's not fair, she said quickly. What's not fair, I replied, is walking away without trying, then expecting everything to reset when you feel like it. Mark held up his hands. I'm just here to help her talk. I respect that, I said, but the answer is still no. Madison's eyes hardened. So that's it? 3 years gone? No, Madison. You ended it the night you walked out. I'm just following your lead. Mark exhaled, and they left. She didn't look back. A month passed with no word from her. I figured she'd finally accepted the reality. Then one Tuesday, my lawyer called. Evan, Daniel said. Her attorney reached out. They're suggesting marriage counseling instead of pushing ahead with a divorce. He explained her parents wanted her to either work things out or learn to support herself. From what he told me, it was obvious this wasn't about love or regret. She'd been bouncing between friends' couches and her parents' place, scraping by on boutique hours, and struggling to maintain the lifestyle she used to have. The house was never up for discussion. It had been mine before the marriage, deed entirely in my name. She left with only what she could carry. Now she was reaching for the safety net she abandoned. Daniel told me to stay firm unless I had a real reason to reconsider. I didn't. Later that week, she sent one text. We could fix this if you would just talk to me. I didn't respond. Daniel filed the final paperwork. I didn't feel happy or bitter, just certain. Some things can't be undone. I couldn't unhear her telling me she was finished. I couldn't unsee the look in her eyes when she told me not to stop her. That wasn't a heated moment. It was a choice. And choices have consequences. 3 months later, the divorce was final. No drama, no last-minute speeches. Just signatures and a stamp. My sister later told me Madison moved back to her parents' small town 2 hours away. She'd quit the boutique because she couldn't afford gas and took a full-time job at a call center. After everything was finalized, she sent me one last text. I hope one day you understand. I never meant to hurt you. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. The house felt different now, steady, calm. I no longer wondered what I'd walk into when I came home. A month later, I met Claire, a 32-year-old nurse who owns her condo and pays her own bills. We started with coffee, then dinner, and I realized how refreshing it was to be with someone who doesn't treat a relationship like leverage. When I mentioned Madison briefly, Claire shook her head. Sounds like she wanted you as a backup while she explored her options. That's exactly what it was, I said. I thought back to the night Madison left, standing over open suitcases, delivering her exit line like a performance. She expected me to panic and bargain. But I'd spent months holding the marriage together by being loyal and steady. She gave up in one evening. Best lesson I ever learned. When someone says they're leaving, believe them. Don't chase, don't beg. Let them go. Because if they truly valued what they had, they wouldn't walk away in the first place.